Okay, so continuing my little rant about the X-Men DVD release. Okay, so where were we? I just watched Slave Island, and I'm in disbelief of the video quality. It's terrible. Okay, I thought, well, maybe it's just gonna be a few episodes that are, gonna not look that great. Okay, well, it's more than a few. I mean, if I count the episodes on here that really didn't have good video quality, it's more than half. For Volume 1, anyway, at least. And then we get into Volume 2, the Volume 2 DVD release. It doesn't have the same problem with the skipping that the Volume 1 release had. But, again, that bad video quality problem is back. I thought maybe that would just be limited to Volume 1. Maybe, okay, those are really old episodes. That was from Season 1. Maybe they, couldn't find the best, copies for that release. Okay, maybe Volume 1 was excusable. Maybe that was going to be limited to Volume 1, the bad video quality. Nope. Afraid not. Volume 2, okay. No skipping problem like Volume 1, but video quality improvements? None. Let's see. Red Dawn, that didn't look very good. That looked really old, washed out colors. Repo Man looked a little better. Externally Yours looked fair. That looked about TV quality. Maybe. Maybe. Funny thing is, most of these DVD releases, they look better on TV. I mean, I don't understand it. Why am I buying a show for it to be, like, destroyed, the video quality? A DVD, it's supposed to be good video quality. So, what a slap in the face, right? Yeah, okay, the next one. These episodes, like, these are the worst looking episodes out of the whole DVD release this show got. Out of the 5 volumes. Okay, Time Fugitives Part 1 and Part 2. Oh my god, I've never seen a ugly. This has got to be the ugliest DVD I've ever seen. I mean, the colors. I've seen YouTube videos that look better, honestly. I mean, I was talking to my friend when these first came out. He's a big X-Men fan. And, he even said, I've seen YouTube videos that look better than these releases. So, what a disgrace. For Time Fugitives Part 1 and 2, it looks gray. It looks like there's hardly any color. Like, the richness is all washed out. So it's depressing. It's really depressing to watch these episodes. Not all of the episodes had that bad quality, but then I'm confused because then we get to episodes like Reunion Part 1 and Reunion Part 2, and the video quality for these episodes, they looked like perfect. So I don't understand. Maybe it wasn't even a video compression thing. Maybe something, I don't know. I mean, I'm no video expert, but somebody explain that to me. Why do some episodes look great and then others look terrible? Because Reunion Part 1 and 2 looked really good. And, then look back, Mojo Vision, an episode right before that, looked like a YouTube video. So I don't understand that. And then you get to Out of the Past Part 1 and 2, and this was already released on DVD in 2003. This was part of that little Legend of Wolverine DVD set. And, this is really funny. I mean, how could they make the video quality worse than a previous DVD release they did? I don't know how they did it, but they did. Out of the Past Part 1 and 2 looks worse than the Legend of Wolverine DVD set. I kid you not. Watch them both. You'll be amazed. You'll be rubbing your eyes in disbelief that they look worse in this release. Yes, they do. Okay, I don't understand that either. Okay, now getting to the Phoenix Saga episodes. These looked okay. Almost TV quality, maybe. But here's another strange thing. Part 4 of the Phoenix Saga is like the best looking episode on the whole set of Volume 1 and 2. My friend, he's a big X-Men fan. He pointed this out too, and I realized it too, that Starjammer's episode looks the best out of these whole first 2 sets, which is really strange. Was it somebody was just a fan of that episode and said, let's do a really good job mastering that episode. I gotta do a good job on that one, but don't care too much about the others. So, I don't know. I mean, okay, so that was the Volume 1 and 2 releases of that show, and kind of leaves you with a funny taste in your mouth, like, well, I don't know what to say. I've waited for this show for so long. Disney finally gives us something that's a halfway decent release, putting aside the video quality factor. Okay, well, okay, let's put the video quality factor aside. They actually released the whole series, which was surprising because there was a lot of questions about, are they just going to release a few episodes and then ditch it like they did, Gargoyles? They didn't release the whole series, they just dropped it because they claimed they didn't sell enough DVDs. They were losing money, they say, which I don't see how Disney could be losing money. They're like, billionaires, but, okay, that's irrelevant. Okay, now I want to talk about one more thing about these DVD releases. This is Volume 5, okay? This was the last one that just came out recently in forget the date, but it was May 2010. This is the final release. Okay, X-Men's finally completely out on DVD. Took 20 years, but it's finally out. Okay, but we get to the first episode on here, the Phalanx episode, and I am just in disgust because I bought Volume 3 and 4, and they actually did do some improvements in the video quality. There was these ones, there was more good-looking episodes than the bad ones. So I was like, okay, maybe they're going to do a little better on these next releases. And then we get to Volume 5, and I'm in horror that the bad video quality is back again. It's these episodes, these first 2 anyway, they look really terrible. I'm sure they didn't look like that when they aired on TV. I mean, they look, the colors are worn out again. They didn't do something right. Let's just put it like that. And then, so okay, then they get to some other episodes, they start looking better, like, Jubilee's Fairy Tale Theater on to Graduation Day, the last episode. Those looked pretty good, I have to admit. Those were almost TV quality, but, and okay, actually, since we're talking about those episodes, I want to say one more thing. Does anybody remember, like, when that series ended, that Marvel Studios went bankrupt, so by episode 71, Marvel Studios wasn't even animating this show. They transferred, because they went bankrupt, they bit off more than they could chew, they were paying for, like, these really elaborate shows to be animated, and so they went bankrupt, and they basically, all the work shifted onto Saban to animate the shows and everything. They had the whole burden, and they dropped, like, the quality of the animation, like, significantly. I mean, if you compare Night of the Sentinels Part 1 and Part 2, like, when the show started, the animation was like Wolverine looked as good as the comic book. I mean, I admire these people who drew these drawings, because they must have been, like, hurting after they did. There's so much pencil mileage on this animation. It's incredible. Like I was, talking before, I've said this is the best looking animation that you've seen on TV. They can't even do stuff that looks this good with computers, the digital ink and paint they have now. So anyway, yeah, X-Men, it was a great show. Excellent animation, despite what some people say. Yeah, DVD release was mediocre, I'm sad to say. Yeah. that's about it for that show. Talking about that show. Yeah. So the series ended with Xavier on his deathbed, and it was kind of sad, but you know, it was still a great show. And okay, I want to talk about one more thing since we have a little time here. This is um this is about the series that followed that X-Men the animated series. Well, actually, we're gonna have to do one more part because I want to talk about those real quick. I want to comment about those. It's gonna be about X-Men Evolution and the more recent one, X-Men and the Wolverine and the X-Men. So stick around for that if you want. Okay, well, I was gonna do a part two for the Power Rangers commentary, but then I got to thinking about another show, and I kind of rather talk about it now. It's another show from the 90s, and it's another one of my favorites, and it's a really popular show that I'm sure most of you are, have seen before. Um, yeah, you can see by the image in the background what it is. So, X-Men from the 90s. Yeah, that was another really great show from my childhood. Um, you know, like, we really had all these great shows as growing up as kids, my generation. You know, being a kid in the 90s, it was like you had so much to watch. I mean, all these kids now, they don't really even have. I mean, all the networks that had really good kids shows in the 90s, they're a gone, distant memory. Fox Kids, and you had Kids WB, and both of these networks, they really aired a lot of really hit shows. I mean, you had starting in the early 90s, you had the Batman the animated series, and that was a really big hit. I mean, yeah, I love the Batman the animated series, but I don't want to talk about that too much today. There's something I want to talk about a little more, and that's the X-Men the animated series, because it came slightly after the Batman animated series, and, well, here's the thing. It was a great show. I loved the show, but here's the thing. Okay, Batman the Animated Series, when it got its DVD release, I mean, I was really, really happy about it. And they did a fair job. I mean, a lot of the masters for the video were a little, old looking, but dust, etc. I mean, that's forgivable. I mean, they got the show out there really quickly. I mean, it was out there by like 2003 or 2004, I think they had the whole show released on DVD, which was really, they did a good job. They got it out quick, and they did a fair job with the video quality, so that was good. Okay, well, I want to talk about, like, the DVD release for X-Men animated series, because this is where I get a little annoyed. Okay, so I'm like in 2003, after Batman the Animated Series gets starting to get released, I'm looking, okay, well, where's X-Men the Animated Series? Because, I mean, that was just as popular as the Batman the Animated Series, maybe even more so. And, well, what happened was, in 2003, they released a little bit of X-Men the Animated Series. Like, I think, like, X2 had came out, and there was a lot of hype about X-Men for a while. So they gave us a little, like, they threw a dog a bone, basically. They gave us, it was called X-Men Legend of Wolverine. It included, like 4 episodes of the series. And, the video quality was pretty good on this release. But, I don't really want to get into explaining how Disney owns the right to X-Men and Power Rangers, ironically, but okay, well, I'll explain that actually real quick. Okay, Disney owns the right to X-Men and a lot of the 90s shows that were owned by Saban Entertainment, because Saban sold them to Disney and Marvel Studios went bankrupt. So anyway, that explains that. Okay, Disney owns the show, right? Okay, well, we were waiting, like, for years for a decent DVD release of X-Men, right? We got that little tease in 2003, 4 episodes on DVD of X-Men, right? Okay, then, like, years pass, and I'm, like, waiting and waiting, 2004, 2005, 2006, I mean, then another X-Men movie came out. You had X-Men The Last Stand, which wasn't very good, but I'm not going to get into that today. X-Men The Last Stand comes out. You're thinking, okay, well, now are they going to release X-Men the Animated Series? Nope, still didn't release it. Okay, well, that's the last X-Men movie that came out. And then a few more years pass. We're getting like 2007, 2008. And another company overseas, in Europe, they start releasing X-Men the Animated Series because they realize they can actually make some money. They're a smart company. They realize they can cash in on this great show. So they start releasing X-Men overseas. And then I think Disney, like, starts thinking, well, we're some damn boneheads right here. We're sitting on this great show. Let's release it on DVD. Okay, well, they finally start to get the idea that we should do this. And this is, like, by 2009. So I'm like, we're getting to the point where, are you going to release this friggin' show already? And, okay, so now they finally come out in a press release. They're going to release X-Men on DVD in the United States. And, like, X-Men fans are like, finally, we've been waiting for this for so damn long. And then the DVD release, it comes to fruition. There it is. They release it on DVD. Volume 1 and Volume 2. And here's where the real, like, disappointment begins. Okay, I remember I actually bought the Europe releases of the X-Men, because I was looking for any form of DVD release other than bootleg, because I can't stand the quality of those, they're just VHS rips basically. Okay, so I bought those. The video quality was fair, to say the least, in the UK releases of the X-Men. But then the US releases of the X-Men, you're expecting, well, really high quality, right? I mean, this is going to be they're going to put a lot of effort into this. They waited so long to release this show on DVD, so it's going to be good quality. Okay, well, sad to say, I'm sure most of you have found this out that have purchased the DVDs of X-Men the Animated Series. They didn't do a good job releasing this series. Okay, let's look at another DVD release that Disney did for another animated series. Gargoyles, right? They did a good job with the video quality in the first few sets, and then they stopped releasing it, which is ridiculous, but I'm not getting into that today either. But okay, they did a decent job with the video, right? They didn't cram too many episodes on one disc, so they didn't have to compress the video too much. Okay, now, guess what they decide to do when they release X-Men? Okay, they cram, like, let me see how many episodes on one disc. 8 episodes on one disc, which means they're using a really high compression ratio for the episodes. So we're gonna lose a lot of the friggin' quality of these episodes that we were waiting so long to get on DVD, which is kind of doesn't matter since they're reducing the quality now. And here's the funny thing. On the first disc of the X-Men DVD Volume 1, the first disc has a strange, if you check the back of the disc, it has a strange little pattern on it to prevent, like, I think, copying, piracy of the disc. But here's the flip side of that. And this is what I don't understand. When you pop this into an old DVD player that doesn't have a really good like laser traction on it, or just certain DVD players, even cheap ones, they have trouble reading this disc, and they can get a lot of skipping, and like the disc doesn't play back properly. On like Night of the Sentinels Part 2, I had this one DVD player, it wouldn't even play. So that's great. I waited all this time to get this series on DVD, and I can't even play the damn DVD. That's really great. Okay, well, I get a better DVD player later, right, to watch my X-Men, the animated series DVDs, which I've waited for 20 years to come out. Okay, well, now we get to the video quality part of that. Oh my god, the video quality. The video quality, for the first volume anyway, was horrendous. They did a horrible job with the video quality. I don't know if it was because they compressed a lot of the episodes, or they didn't get the best copies of the masters they could have. But like, I look at certain episodes like Slave Island, and it looks terrible. The colors are all washed out. It looks like the video looks like it's 50 years old or something. I mean, I Love Lucy gets a better DVD release than this. And we're running out of time here, so I'm going to have to do a part 3, I guess. So, okay, yeah, part 3, and I'm going to continue my little rant here about the X-Men DVD release. So get ready for that. Okay, today I'm going to be doing a little bit of what you might call a commentary about one of my favorite TV shows from the 90s. I mean, if you were a kid in the 90s, more than likely you've seen this at least once, one episode at least of this show. Okay, you know what it is by now. Yeah, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. What kid from the 90s never watched that show? I mean, that was the epitome of the 90s. It started a whole damn, like, genre of just shows that copied it. You had Beetleborgs, you had VR Troopers, but none of them ever measured up to the original series. So get ready for my commentary on Mighty Morphin Power Rangers for the 90s. I don't really know where to begin talking about this show. I mean, there's just so many things that I liked about it. Okay, let's start with a little fact that I'm sure most of you probably are unaware of, as I was for many years. But you probably didn't know that Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is actually adapted from a Japanese TV show from the early 90s. It was called Zoo Ranger in Japan, and basically Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, like the fight scenes and all the monster battles and everything like that, it's basically taken from that show. I mean, you should, if you're interested in this, YouTube it right now, Zoo Ranger, and you can see there probably is a few episodes up there, and you can watch and see what I'm talking about a little bit. But yeah, it's called Zoo Ranger, and the funny thing about it is, like, I never realized this as a kid, but there's like things that they edited out that were too adult from the Zoo Ranger show. Like, there's this one episode where, like, Rita created this monster, and he's like a Frankenstein monster, and the monster gets destroyed in the Power Rangers series. We cut the film, or we edited it so it looked like the monster had gotten destroyed. The episode is called what was it called? Masquerade something? Life's a Masquerade. That's the episode of the Power Rangers series with the monster I'm talking about. But in the Japanese series, the original Zoo Ranger, the monster's not actually destroyed. What happens in the Japanese series is the monster gets, like, severely damaged by one of the Zords, you know, the Dragon Megazord or whatever. And he gets like impaled, but he doesn't like get destroyed. He just, cuz he's made of like a superior monster mold supposedly they talk about in this series, and he survives the, you know, the Megazord's attack, and he changes, and the monster changes into like a second form, a more oh, I don't know, it looks a little more like grotesque, like his skin's all off, like, you know, a real uglier Frankenstein, you might call it, kind of like just deformed, you might say. And like they, okay, and then that happens in the series, in the Japanese series. They show the transformation, which is cool. They show, you know, there's some other stuff going on, like they have to get better weapons to take out this monster. They show that a little bit in the Power Rangers series, but not too much. That was in another episode called Gung Ho. They just barely touch upon it, about the search for the weapons to destroy the superior monster. You know, Clay, they call it, Dora, Super Dora Clay or something, something like that. But anyway, in the Japanese series, continuing, um, so the monster changes once, right? And then, well, Rita, but her name in the Japanese series is Bandora, kind of a combination there of Banshee and Pandora's box. Bandora, kind of a clever name they thought of there. That's her original name. That's Rita's real name, you might say, Bandora. And I'll have to probably try to include some footage of this, of the Zoo Ranger transformations where the monster transforms, because it's pretty damn cool actually. And I wish they had showed it in the, you know, the American adaptation of that. So yeah. Then the monster basically, they battle the monster, and Rita's like trying to collect like children's souls to feed like the devil, and they don't even like touch upon that. I mean, in the American series, the devil creature that gives Rita her powers basically is called Lokar, and you know, we see him about once or twice, but in the Japanese series he really plays a role in the monster's transformation, because the monster transforms a third time when he comes to the earth, when he gets like 13 children's souls, which is really creepy, but they wouldn't even touch that in the American series. And so yeah, then the devil comes basically, and he changes the monster a third time, and which is really weird. He gets really demonic looking, like a horse, like really. I can't explain it. I'll have to try to put some footage up here of the transformation. It's really pretty sick. And so yeah, okay, so that's like a good example how Power Rangers was adapted from Zoo Ranger, right? Okay, here's some interesting little factoids about the show. I mean, you can tell. I mean, I have a trained eye. I can see this. I mean, you can see the Japanese footage. The colors look a little more vibrant. The compared to the American footage, which we shot with low-grade TV cameras, they used real like high-definition movie cameras to shoot their footage. So it has a real like movie-esque quality. It's like really, the colors are real vibrant, high contrast, and just a real high quality to the video. So yeah, you can tell that pretty much anybody can tell that if they have good eyesight, that the Japanese footage looks pretty different from the American footage. But I never noticed it as a kid, really, probably because watching on old crummy TV, and you know, didn't really know to look for that. But yeah, yeah. So it's taken from a Japanese show, and they were both really great shows in their own way. I mean, I liked the music to Power Rangers a lot. I mean, a lot of people, you know, probably laugh at that, but I liked the rock and roll music that went along with Power Rangers. Actually, it was pretty cool. I mean, in the '90s, you know, What else to say about this? If you didn't know, some interesting little facts about, some things that happened. In 2001, the actress that played Trini, she died, and not like many fans probably are even aware of this because it hardly got any news coverage. But yeah, Trini died. She died in a car crash like right before 9/11, so she didn't really get her fair share of news coverage because 9/11 happened, and and that stole all the news coverage, rightfully so. But yeah, so Trini died. Zordon died. He did the voice, the guy who did Zordon's voice. He passed away a few years ago. And here's another weird thing. Somebody who worked on the show, like, was affiliated with the show. Like somebody, he went sent to prison for murder or something. I have to look that up. But somebody who worked on the show was like involved in a murder case. I can't remember that exactly, but I'll have to look into that. And what else? Okay, oh yeah, and in the Japanese show, the actress who played Bandora, aka Rita, in the American series, she died. So a lot of the people who worked on the show passed away or had misfortune, which is really strange. I'm probably going to talk more about this in a part 2 because I have a little bit more to say. So, yeah, we'll look for part 2 to be uploaded pretty soon. That's all for this part.